It's a time to listen to our chief guest this evening. Before I call him, may I give you...
Mr. Praveen Chakravarti is a member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, from the Congress Party and serves as All India Chairman of the party's Professionals Wing and Data Analytics Departments. An alumnus of BITS Pilani and Wharton, Mr. Praveen has worked with IBM, Microsoft, and on Wall Street before joining public service through the Dr. Manmohan Singh government's Unique Identity Program and Prime Minister's Skills Mission. A visiting professor in political economy at Ashoka University, Mr. Praveen is a key member of the Congress Economic Think Tank, Manifesto Drafting Team, and an active writer, sports enthusiast, classical music aficionado, and voracious reader.
Gentlemen, my proud privilege to request Mr. Praveen Chakravarti, Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, to deliver the chief guest address. Mr. Praveen Chakravarti.
Good evening, Ellorukkum Vanakkam. Captain Vijay Kumar of the Madras Management Association, my good friend Professor Santosh Mehrotra, Mr. Giridhar Gopal, Dr. Kalayarasan, I know Dr. Kumar Swami is not here, there he is, and members of the MMA that are assembled here, a very good evening again. First, I remember the last time I was here, and I think the Captain Vijay Kumar would remember it, it was 2019, just before the Parliament election. It was for a book launch. It was the launch of a book of Mr. P. Chidambaram. And I remember we had a very similar pessimistic discussion back then about, but not about the state of the economy, but about inequality. Of course, Mr. Chidambaram and I also served on the Manifesto Committee at that time, and so we went on to draft a few policies for the manifesto, but we didn't get a chance to implement them. I am here more as an economist and less as a politician, but though you cannot disconnect the two, and it's also a more comfortable avatar for me, the one of an economist. But I actually want to start with making sure we understand what the verdict in the Tamil Nadu Assembly elections recently was. The message from voters. And that message was very loud and clear to all of us politicians, which is the youth of the state said we reject the old order. And that includes all of us. All of us. We said we do not believe, have confidence in establishment politics. We reject the old order. We want to try something new, and we want to give something new a chance. Essentially, they voted for a complete overhaul. And that's an important message that we must understand, imbibe. And now as an economist, I would say that that message is true even for the field of economics. The field of establishment economics that Santosh and I belong to is being questioned. Why are the youth so disenchanted? They're disenchanted with politics But what they are seeing as not working is because the traditional economic thinking is not working. And we have to accept that. We have to acknowledge that. Unless we accept and acknowledge that, we will not be able to find solutions. And why is it not working? With the new government in place, and today happens to be the birthday of our Chief Minister as well, I'm not sure I should be launching a book that says India out of work, which is not a very good message for youth that are perhaps a little bit more optimistic now because of the change here, where they say that they've rejected the old order. And now we are here talking about India out of work. And Santosh just told us how we may never get back to work if we don't do a lot of good things. So I have to contest some of those things. But India out of work sounds very ominous, sounds very scary if I'm in my 20s. And that is primarily because things have changed so fast, so rapidly, that both politics and economics have not kept up. The traditional view in economic theory was the idea of GDP growth. So if there's a new finance minister of India or even the state of Tamil Nadu, you ask them, what is your goal? What is your objective? The traditional answer would be, we will grow at double digit, or we will grow at 8% or 12% or 14%. But why that growth? That growth in itself has no meaning. Because the traditional theory was that growth, which is an increase in production and output, meant an increase in workers, which meant an increase in jobs and incomes. So it was the classic trickle-down theory that we would associate in economic thinking. And hence this obsession with GDP growth. But somewhere down the line, that link broke. The facts and the data is very clear. This is RBI data. For every 1 percentage point of GDP growth, the number of formal sector jobs that it generates has halved every decade, from the 80s to the 90s, to the 2000s, to the 2010. We're no longer creating, we could be growing at 10%, 12% for whatever we care. But does it translate into jobs and incomes for people, for our youth? And it does not. That's the brute, harsh, ugly truth. So then we have to ask the question, why are we so obsessed with GDP growth? It does not translate to jobs for obvious reasons, which is technology. So today, we can get the same amount of output, same amount of growth with far fewer workers than we did in the 80s or the 90s. So then are we not chasing the wrong goal? If we keep talking about 8% growth, double-digit growth, 12% growth, what does it matter? And this is where when I say the link between GDP and jobs is broken, it also means the link between politics and economics is broken. Because in politics, what people want, what our voters want, in democratic politics at least, are jobs and incomes and prosperity. I can't give them an answer saying we are growing at 12%. And to be fair, this is not just an India problem or a Tamil Nadu problem, it's a problem all over the world, but we are the largest country on the planet. We have the largest workforce on the planet. We have the largest largest number of people coming into the workforce, and we don't have jobs for them. And we can't get jobs. We don't have an answer for how to get jobs. And that is what I would urge everybody, at least the experts, to spend more time thinking about. When I remember when I was in government and when we were also trying to come up with solutions or proposals for our manifesto, the one thing we would always struggle with is we did not have good data on the labor market, as we say in economics. I must absolutely congratulate Santosh and his co-author for putting an end to that complaint. It's an excellent book with so much rich data. The data is not very good looking, but that's the truth. But the data, and I think Santosh showed that one table, which was very striking for me. In the last 20, 25 years, the share of people in agriculture has come down. So where did they go? Where did the remaining people in agriculture go? They didn't go into manufacturing. Looks like they also did not go into services, as we call it. There was a category which I didn't quite understand, Santosh, which said non-manufacturing, non-services.
Construction, mostly construction.
So, and that is what seems to be growing. And now, of course, gig work. All of this is before we've uttered the word AI, artificial intelligence. With AI, whether we like it or not, it's here. It's a reality. So if artificial intelligence is now taking away jobs, is bound to take away jobs from the service sector, which is the traditional idea was that people went to university when we moved from the era of muscle, which was agriculture, where people needed strength and hunter-gatherers and agriculture, to then we moved to the era of hands, which was manufacturing. From there we moved to the era of the mind, which was university degree and going into service sector jobs. Suddenly AI is saying, I'm removing the human out of the mind. I don't need a human. A machine can do what a McKinsey consultant, I'm sorry if there are any consultants here, but what a McKinsey consultant can do. A McKinsey consultant or a Wall Street analyst they've probably spent lots of money, 22, 23 years of their life getting themselves educated to go into a job which now AI says, I will do. Remember, the AI cannot take away the barber's job yet. We still need the barber. And we still all need haircuts and hairstyles. But the AI is taking away Wall Street analyst and McKinsey. So what does this do? What does this even mean? How do we even look at the future? So if AI is taking away McKinsey consultants and Wall Street analysts, then why is a university degree valuable any longer? More importantly, why is a McKinsey consultant paid 100 times more than a barber? A McKinsey consultant can be replaced. A barber cannot be replaced. Yet, at least. Or a gig worker or someone who delivers what we want, they cannot be replaced yet. But a McKinsey consultant is gone. So why, if the demand for McKinsey consultants go down, and then what happens to their wages? Are we going to see an era where the barber is getting paid more than a McKinsey consultant? These are very fundamental questions that we need to answer. Very fundamental. And I'm afraid these are not the questions that our traditional policy fraternity in the country is engaging with. But these are the questions we as politicians get on the field. If the state of Tamil Nadu has voted for a change, there is expectations. The youth have led this change. They have expectations, and rightfully. What is our answer going to be for them? And I can pretend as a politician that I have all the answers, but the honest truth is that we don't. But my concern is even more. Are we even thinking about these things? And which is why when I said I will contest a few of Santosh's solutions, what I meant was I would start by questioning these things. Because an 8% growth, I am not convinced is going to create the same number of jobs that we thought it would. Or a 10% growth or a 12% growth. And I'm worried we may be going down the completely wrong path if we keep chasing that growth. And we in Tamil Nadu, we in Chennai know this because just a few kilometers from here in Sri Perumbudur and Kanchipuram, we assemble 1/3 of the world's iPhones. 1/3 of the world's iPhones get assembled here. How many people are employed there? It's very good that we are assembling iPhones. It's excellent that we have manufacturing expertise. It's excellent, and Tamil Nadu is by far the best state in the country for this. But if machines are going to do all the jobs, what are the youth of Tamil Nadu that are coming out of colleges going to do? And hence, I can still say by assembling 1/3 of the world's iPhones, the state GDP growth is whatever, 15%, 20% nominal, 15% perhaps nominal growth. But that does not answer the question that the youth want, which is, where is my job? And so I want to end by really urging a lot of the policy experts, economists, politicians, and people in this room to think hard about this question. How can we actually generate jobs, knowing very well that the old order does not work? The old economic order, just as the old political order did work, the old economic order also does not work. So we just have to completely restructure our thinking and see what we can do as solutions. Of course, the one solution that everybody talks about is universal basic income, which is giving money to people. For those that have followed me in the media, I'm very vocal about our debt levels, not just in the state level, but even at the federal government level. But what's even more worrying is state government debt. So we can talk about giving money, we can talk about skilling and investing in education and quality of work, but where is the money for it? And our debt situations are becoming unsustainable. Like I've said, 65% of revenues of the state of Tamil Nadu go into just servicing debt and committed expenditure. So we have issues to think about. I don't want to sound scary, but I hope that at least I am trying to impress upon you that we are thinking about these things. We understand what the harsh, ugly truth is.